As I continue on, you can see I have a side view already pinned down. I have a set of pins on this end, a set of pins toward the center, and a set of pins on the opposite end. I'm going to do the same thing with the other side now, is we're going to run a bead of glue again across from one edge all the way across to the other. And then once you have that on there, take your other side view, set it right on top of the bottom view, glide it a little bit, and then cross pin that in almost the same exact spot. So we're cross pinning the two side views down. Several things could happen at this point. You might notice that your side views might be a little bit longer or shorter than your bottom view. In that case, you just want to make sure you have an equal amount of either overhang or underhang on your bridge on the very ends to make it balanced so that your bridge is not offset too much, okay? And also one note, as you're cross pinning these down, your sides may not stand perfectly straight right now, and they probably won't until you get the top view put on. So I have now my sides cross pinned down. And now the last thing I want to do is I want to glue my top view down. To glue the top view down, for the truss bridge, we're just going to glue our top view directly on top of the two sides. For a triangle bridge, you'll glue the top view on each side of your triangle. So as we put this down here, we're going to run a bead of glue again across this top edge and across this top edge. Set your top view down. And now the difference here is we can't cross pin this down up in midair. We're going to have to tape it. So if you have tape at home or here at school, I'm going to use masking tape, preferably masking tape if you have it. The clear tape tends to stick a little too tight, and then we're eventually going to need to take that tape off of your bridge. And so it's easier to peel masking tape off than it is to use that clear wrapping tape. But if that's all you have, then by all means you want to go ahead and use that. As you can see, as I'm putting these pieces of tape on, I'm putting the tape on the corners only, okay? And as I put the tape on the corners, I'm going to actually lay the tape over the top of the stick. Then I'm going to pinch the two sides together, and that lines everything up when you pinch these together. So make sure that you're pinching those together so your top view is now resting securely on top of the two sides. The last thing we want to do is now we want to go back to that term air pockets and look at the seams and look in between the views to see if the seams have any air pockets. If I look down here at this end here and turn this like so, you can see I have a little air pocket right here where I can see through from one side to the other. You may also have a situation like this end where it's sticking up off of the bottom view and it's not resting right on top of that stick. If you run into a situation where the ends of the bridge are sticking up, then go ahead and take a square gusset and add a square gusset to the end of both views, and that will hold this together. But be sure you glue it on. If I put a square gusset on this end, I want to use a square gusset on this end, and the same thing to the other two ends as well, just to make sure that that is balanced. So when you take your bridge and you lift it up, hold it up at eye level and just look right along your seams to see if you can see through. If so, then take a little bit of glue with your paintbrush and add that glue across your seam like so. This way it's completely sealed up. So we want to make sure as you assemble your bridge that your seams are filled in, that if it's anything sticking up on the ends, we put a gusset over that edge. And we want to make sure the bottom view seam is sealed as well. Without sealing these, if you have air pockets in your bridge, the problem with that is when we go to add the weight to your bridge, we'll actually have it pull apart, and we need to actually test your design, not how well you glued it together. So keep that in mind as you're assembling your bridge. Check your seams before you set it aside to dry. And also look at the bridge from the ends to be sure that the two sides have actually dried straight up and down, okay?